So, it's been an interesting day. It is the 25th of March. It is now 20 past 4 in the afternoon. And today we got tested for the COVID-19 coronavirus. Hello. So we went for a nice long walk along the promenade and did a little bit of exercises because all gyms are closed, obviously. And to find out that apparently we're getting tested for coronavirus today. Vietnam has implemented this new strategy where they're going to be testing all foreigners that have entered the country since the 8th of March. And obviously we did our visa run on the 13th, so technically we are getting tested. So someone's coming to the hotel today to test us. So we shall see what happens. Before I talk about what happened today, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what's been happening in Vietnam and how Vietnam has handled this entire situation. So Vietnam was one of the earlier countries actually to have this virus or have the first case. I think it was like end of Jan. They had their first case and it spread a little bit to the point where by the 13th of Feb they had 17 people who were all being treated for the coronavirus. And then it just stopped. All of those 17 people were cured. They were sent home, healthy, cool. For like 3 weeks, we didn't have anything going on. Everyone was super positive, like, woohoo! Vietnam is basically like immune to the coronavirus. Felt great. And then come like 6th of March, something like that, we had another case. Or Vietnam had another case. And then it spread. In those first 2 weeks, Vietnam did a lot. They firstly started ensuring that everyone filled out medical declaration forms on arrival in Vietnam. They started screening people. Anyone coming from a high-risk country was asked to self-isolate or they were put in quarantine. And then on the 18th of March, a decision was made to just completely close the Vietnamese border to any foreigner. So the government is doing a good job. Anyone that's arriving now into Vietnam that's a Vietnamese citizen is being immediately quarantined and tested. And most of the cases are coming from those people that are entering the country. There is far less actual spread within Vietnam. It's mostly just the people arriving in Vietnam from all over the world. They've set up hospitals specific for coronavirus. They have got a multitude of staff, a multitude of quarantine areas, military bases, and so forth. It's just extremely well-oiled machine from everything I've read and heard, bar maybe some minor communication issues. Vietnamese people do not often speak English. So fast forward to today. What was so impressive is that from this morning till this afternoon when we had it done, there was constant communication by the people who were coming to conduct the test and the people at our accommodation. All of our personal information was sent to them, so they had everything when they basically arrived. So we got a knock on the door. Cool, come downstairs. Went downstairs. There was this big white van, logo, some Vietnamese writing. It's the Da Nang Derma Virology Hospital. I don't know how to pronounce these medical terms. And a man in a very scary looking hazmat suit, like literally like all blue mask, but yet he was still wearing flip-flops. So gloves on, like literally covered, except his feet. His feet were not covered. But in Vietnam, we see people, construction workers, wearing flip-flops, and people who are doing welding wearing flip-flops. So, not all that surprised.
Don't forgive my urine sample. Hello.
Anh sign here, huh?
Just sign at the bottom.
That's all, huh?
Anyhow, I had to fill in some medical declaration information, and then I sat down in a chair and they had to take 2 swab samples. So because coronavirus is obviously a respiratory virus, they have to take the swabs from as close as possible to your respiratory system. I'm extremely naive and stupid because I honestly thought that they were just going to swab the inside of my cheek and that was it. Or take a urine sample. Did not realize that it was going to be as invasive as it was. So the first cotton swab was the back of my throat. That was fun. Tried not to gag. Didn't gag, so that was okay. And then he took this very long, thin cotton swab and put it up the furthest he could in my nose. Guys, I felt like I was violated. I still feel violated. My nose is still like, get past this traumatic experience. Not dramatic at all. Like as soon as he pulled the cotton swab out, like this is gonna sound gross, but like it felt like my nose started crying, like just water started coming out of it. So that was like really unpleasant. I think Chad handled it very well. He actually thought that the swab up the nose was ticklish, sadistic.
Okay.
My nose leaked afterwards. Is yours leaking?
And then we're told cool 24 to 48 hours and they will let our accommodation know, and in turn they will let us know. If we do have the virus, apparently we'll be moved to a hospital where we will be quarantined. If we don't have it, well, we don't have it. I really don't think we do. We've been really careful. Like we mostly inside. We do go for walks outside, like to get fresh air, and we do go get food sometimes. But I mean, we're very careful. Vietnamese people are doing a really good job, although there's no like lockdown per se in the country. Like people are still just trying their best to make sure that they limit interaction with each other. So like the government has said, be careful, self-isolate. They haven't put it in writing, or it's not a law or a procedure in place at the moment. People are just practicing it on their own, which is amazing and incredible. There's just so much trust and so much belief in the government, and they should, because I mean, look at this. These people came out to where we were staying and did a test for us free of charge. I didn't pay for that because it's trying to protect its own people. Like, how absolutely amazing is that? Not only, I mean, I've heard of stories in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh where people have been found positive in their residences, They've obviously been put into quarantine, or they've been asked to self-isolate, and their entire street or alley has been closed down. Everyone there has to self-isolate, like everyone that's living in that street or alley. They come out and they sanitize the entire place, like with this crazy industrial sanitizing things. And then because the people are in lockdown, essentially, they can't go out and buy food or anything. The government actually comes around and brings fresh produce, meat, vegetables, eggs, any rice, anything people will need to be able to cook food in their own homes. This is a third world country, guys. Like, this is not a rich country. Like, this is a poor country, a country where most people's salary is $150 a month. Like, yet look what it's doing for its people. And I think that's probably why the Vietnamese people are so, for a lack of a better word, obedient and trust that their government has their best interest at heart. I'm really glad that we extended our visa. I'm really glad that we're still here. I feel very safe here. We're obviously sometimes looked at funny as foreigners, which I understand, because at the moment the virus is being brought into the country. So the Vietnamese are a little bit more fearful of foreigners. They don't know that I didn't arrive here, 2 weeks ago. They don't know that I've been in the country for 3 months. They just think, okay, obviously newbie foreigner. So yeah, sometimes, you get the odd bad look, or, people kind of taking a step back, but no one's been mean, no one's been rude. We wear our masks in public just to put their minds at ease more than anything else. Wash our hands a lot. Like Chad was complaining his hands are dry. I'm looking at my hands now. They're also a little bit dry from all the hand washing and all the hand sanitizer. Yeah. Let's see whether my nerves can handle this, even though I don't think I have the virus, but because I know I'm getting tested for it, I'm freaking out. Yeah. Excuse the work attire. So we found out this morning that we actually have to self-isolate now until we've been ordering food and then going and standing downstairs by the elevator and basically praying that the person delivering our food will just find the hotel and work their way inside. Oh, this is funny. We were not prepared for this. It is absolute silence today in this little street alley we live in. Like, it's ridiculous. I've never heard it so quiet. There's no one in the street. There's usually people everywhere. It is dead today. Guys! We're in a coffee shop. You know what that means. We do not have the coronavirus, and we can freely walk around. And we got coffee. To celebrate, we're going to work out of a coffee shop today, and then probably go for a nice long walk this evening along the promenade. So we're super happy. Anyway, stay safe during this lockdown. Sending all the love in the world. Bye.